Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. So today we are here to present our problem solving mini project, which is A4 Cyber Cafe. Our lecturer name is Dr. Sawana binti Muhammad at Asmara. So this is our group members. My name is Abdul Razak bin Abdul Aziz with metric ID CB22056. And the other members will introduce their self when they want to presenting their slide. Okay, so first we will go to our case study. So we want to make services for university student to use the computer. That's why we do the cyber cafe. So firstly, for this case study, we want the um we want details from the customer such as their name, phone number, and the computer number they will be using, and also the hour they want to use our computer. So here in the slide we can see the rate of our services for student and non-student. And there is also divided to the first hour where it is the first price, and the subsequent hour will be will be cheaper. Okay, so here is also in our case study. Since we value our customer, we decided to give reward for them for the accumulating hours that the customer will use in a single receipt. So for the customer that use our services more than 10 hours, they will get a free kitchen, while the customer that use our computer between 5 to 9 hours, they will be getting free sticker. And lastly, a customer who are using our services less than 5 hours will be getting 3 pieces of candies. So then this is the requirement thing that need to be in our receipt, which is their nickname, phone number, category, computer number that they are using, total hour they use our services, total fees that they have paid throughout they use our computer, and lastly the gift that they can redeem. And here is initial plan how we want to make our interface program. And here is the interface, the initial plan for our receipt interface. So this is the test data that we'll be using in our program later on. So next, I will pass the slide to Ikhwan Bazli.
Okay, thank you Razak for giving me the opportunity to be presenting the slide. Okay, so my name is Ahmad Ikhwan Bazli bin Abriza with matrix ID CB22037, and I will be presenting problem analysis chat PAC. For PAC, there will be four main things such as given data, required result, processing required, and solution alternative. For given data, from what we can see, there will be name, number customer, category, computer number, and our customer. And for the required result, we want from the case study is total hours and total fees. For the processing required, we will be initialize the total hours and total fees to 0, and we will be entering the do while looping. And from here, we will ask the customer either they are student or not. If they are student, the category must the category equal to Y. Then the calculation for their total hours and total fees will be such shown in the processing required. As if the customer is not student, the calculation will be different from the student calculation. Then the program will show the total fees total fees that need to be paid by the customer. And after using the computer, if the customer want to add more hour, the user will enter one, and the program will the program will read the hour that customer want to add. If the customer do not want to adding more hour, then the program will go to will exit the do while looping, and will show what gift can be redeemed by the customer. And lastly, for solution alternative, all variable can be as input value or constant value. Other than that, decision can be right as positive, negative, or straight through logic. Next. Okay, so I will continue with the interactivity chat IC. From what we can see, there are four boxes here, and above all is a 4CC control with module 0000, and it will be divided to three other modules, such as read with module 1000, and calculate with module 2000, and as we can see, there is the circle that shown looping. And lastly, last box is for print with module 3000. Okay, next I will be presenting about input processing output chat, IPO. So there is also four main thing here, such as input, processing, module reference, and output. For the input, we can get the input from the PAC or from the case study, which is the input is the thing that will be entered by user. Then for the processing, it is a little bit same like the processing required from the PSC, but there are some difference, which is from the number 1 and number 5, there will be certain thing that will be entered by customer, such as name, number customer, category, computer number, and our cast. For the model reference, we can refer to the interactivity chat, for which module all this number is belong to. And for the output, we can see from the case study, which is what we want to print on our receipt. So I will pass the slide to Aimah Haizat.
Okay, thank you Ikon Razli for presenting PAC, IC, and IPO. Okay, it's my turn to explain about algorithm without module. Okay, for algorithm part, it was right in sequence like this, and has numbering. It must start and end with n. So for step 2, step 2 until step 6, it's required user to enter input such as name, number customer, category, commuter number, and our customer. And for step 7 and 8, total hours and total fee was given the initial value, which is 0. And for step 9, it will be looping until step 30. Okay, so for the step 10, it was show the current total hours, which is total hours plus our customer. For the step 11, it want to determine whether the user are student or not. If user enter Y, it means the user was a student. If not, the user not a student. So if the user was a student and our customer is below 3 or below or equal to 3, then it has its own calculation. If user not a student and the hour is greater than 3, then other calculation will be used. Okay. Next, for step 26. For step 26, user need to enter option whether he want to continue playing the computer or not. User need to enter 1 or 0. So if the option 1, if the user enter 1 as their option, the program will start again from step 9. And then if user enter 0, the program will stop and print all the output. So I think that's all for this algorithm without module part. And next, I pass to Akif Dani for the flowchart without module.
Thank you, Aima, for passing me to continue our project presenting. My name is Akif Dani. My matrix number is CB22077. We will start our project without module with our eclipse shape and go on to the parallelogram shape, which is to prompt the customer to enter their name, normal customer, category, computer number, and read their our customer. And then we will move on to the rectangular shape, which is to initialize the total hours and total fees to the 0. And then we go on to the upside down pentagon shape, which is on the next slide. Okay, continue our project from the first slide. The upside down pentagon will continue to the rectangular shape, which is to calculate the total hours equals to total hours plus our customer. And then it will go to the diamond shape, which is to decide whether the customer is the student or not. If the customer is the student, then it will go into the another diamond shape, which to calculate the customer based on their using our product. Same goes to the our non-student customer, and then it will goes to the rectangular shape, which is to calculate the total fees. Um, the total fees is equal to total fees plus currency, which is the fees. And then if we go to the parallelogram shape, which is to print the fees and read the option. And then it will go to the diamond shape, which is to make a decision whether the customer want to continue our product or not. If the customer want to continue our product, it will read the customer hour, and then it will go to the uh, diamond shape, which will repeat the process to the total hours calculation if they want to continue to use our product, and then we will move on to the third upside down pentagon. Okay, for the third slide of our flowchart, it will continue to read to print the customer name, nombor customer, category, uh, computer number, total hours, and total fees, which is in the parallelogram shape. And then it will move to the decision, which is in the diamond shape. If the customer use our product more than 10 hours, then we get uh, uh, one available kitchen, which is in the parallelogram shape. Uh, if the customer use our product less than or more than 5 hours, then we get a free available sticker and three pieces of candy. And then the system will end the process in to the end shape, which is in the eclipse shape. Then I want to pass the presentation to the Aima back.
Okay, thank you, Akif Dani. Sorry, earlier I think I didn't mention my name and matrix ID. So my name is Aiman Haizat bin Nasri and my matrix ID is CB22095. Okay, so I want to explain about desk checking. So for desk checking, it must based on the algorithm earlier. It used to check whether the algorithm is valid or not. To check it valid or not, we must to test some input. We must to input some data and check whether the output is right as expectation or not. For example, we entered name, which is Ali, and the customer number, and Y for the category, which means the user was a student, and the computer number, which is 1, and our customer, which is we put 2. So the total hours and total fees, we initialize it with 0. So for the step 10, the total hours was equals to total hours plus our customer, which is 0 plus 2 equal to 2. Okay, next. For step 11, it want to determine whether the category that we put earlier is true or not, which is we put Y and it was true. And our customer we put earlier is 2. So 2 is smaller or equal than 3, which is true. So it will use this calculation, which is 2 times 4.5 minus 0, which is 9. So for step 14 until 20 until 20 until 3 is blank because once the condition already been met, so we no need to go to the other decision. So for the step 24, it show the current total fees, which is 0 plus 9 equal to 9. And we need for step 26, user need to input enter option whether it want to continue use the computer or not. So we put 1 as the input. which is one is true. So we need to start again from step 9. So then for step 28, we enter the new our customer, which is 2, and then uh, total hours apa ni, total hours plus our customer, which is 2 equals 2 plus 2 equal to 4. So we calculate again using this calculation until step 24 next. Okay, so once the apa ni, if all the output is correct as expectation, it mean the algorithm is valid. So I think that's all from me explaining about just checking. So I pass to the Ikhwan Bazli to explaining about coupling diagram.
Okay, thank you, Amazat. So for now, I will be explaining about coupling diagram. As we can see here, there are two type of arrow, which is double-headed arrow and single-headed arrow. For the double-headed arrow, it presenting the call by reference, and meanwhile single-headed arrow presenting call by value. As we can see, for the double-headed arrow is we use double-headed arrow if the data is still not in the A4CC control, which is the data will be sent from the other modules such as read, while the user have entered the data, then from the read module it will send it back to the A4CC control, and after the data has been stored in the A4CC control, we will use the single headed arrow to send it to another module such as calculate to do some calculation. uh, that's all. So I will be give the presentation to Aimah Haizat.
Okay, thank you Ikhwan Bazli for explaining coupling diagram earlier. So I want to explaining about data dictionary. So for data dictionary, it used to make user easier to understand what the data is. For example, their data item, variable name, data type, whether it's string, character, real or integer, and which module it was placed, such as in read module or calculate module or print module. I think that's all for this part. Next, I pass to Abdul Razak to explaining about algorithm with module.
Okay, thank you, Arima, for the explanation earlier. So now we will move on to algorithm with module. Okay, so here, since we already know that we have 4 module, which is our main module is A4CC control, and the other 3 is read, calculate, and print. So the algorithm in our main module, which is A4CC control, there is only a process to another module and it will end. So here we can see that the process read, we will deliver some variable, by reference so that the module. So the variable in read module can be passed back to the A4CC control, and in process calculate, we will be transfer the variable some by reference and some by value. By reference, we can get the data back to the A4CC control. Meanwhile, some where we transfer by value, we will only give the data to the module, and if there is a changes in the data, it will not return to the A4CC control. So the by reference is the data with star at the first, and if it is only the variable, that's mean we'll transfer it by value. So in process, and lastly for process print, we only transfer the data by value since there is no changes in value. We only want to print out the value. Okay, so next in the read module, here is where we enter all the customer information. And then next in calculate module, this is where we initialize the total hour and total fees variable. And this is also where we do the looping and many decision like what Aima and Akif had explained earlier. Okay, so this is also in calculate module. So lastly in print module. So here is where we print out the information needed in the receipt, like what we write in the case study. Okay, so next I will pass back to Akif to explain about flowchart with module.
Okay, thank you Razak for passing me to continue our presentation. Uh, so I want to present flowchart with module. The difference between flowchart with module and without module is that the flowchart with module, they have the main modules, which is read, calculate, and print. And for the each main module, there will show the um, main process that happen. So for this slide, for the main module, it show the read process that happen in our system. Next, um, for for this second slide, it will show the calculation that happen in our system. Next, and lastly, for the print module, it will show the process of print that happen in our system, and it will end the system process to the exit module. And I will pass the presentation to the Razak back.
Okay, thank you Akif for the explanation. So we are at, at the end of our presentation actually. There's one or two slides. So here is our programming sequence of input and output. So here, before I start explaining, for this program, we are using algorithm without module. This is because in C programming, there's some restriction to transfer the character and float variable to another modules. So instead of using global declaration, we decided to use um, programming algorithm without module. So yes, that's why. So here in our C programming, in the first line, we can see hashtag include stdio.h. This is libraries to use the function like printf, scanf, and to do some simple calculation and to use the function like looping and decision structure. Okay, so in line number 3, we can see integer main. That is actually our main module, which is A4CC control. So in line 4 until 6, it is variable declaration, which is what we want to use throughout our program. So in line 8 until 21, this is where we will be entering customer information. And then line 23 until line 57, it is looping structure. And this is also where all the calculation will be happening. And it is also looping if the customer want to prolong their session with our computer service. And then for line number 60 until 76, this is where we'll be printing out our receipt. So here we can see there's some \t and \n. \t is actually for tab. We want to make our printout words to the center of the output later on. And for \n, we want to make the new line so that our receipt will be more beautiful and smart. Okay, so lastly, the interface prototype. This is what will happen. This is what the result of our programming earlier. So the first 5 line is where we will input the data, and the line 6 is the current total fee that the customer need to pay before they use our computer service. So then there is an option if the customer want to add hour or exit. So here, the customer want to add hour. So the next hour they want to use is 2. So after that, the current total fee that the customer need to pay first is 7 ringgit and 50 cent. So after he or she have done use our services, they decided to exit. So they enter number 0. So here, the receipt that we print out, that include the nickname, customer numbers, student category. So why it means the customer is student, and the computer number they are using is 1. Total hour throughout their session here is 4 hour, and total fees that they have paid earlier is 16 ringgit 16 ringgit and 50 cents. So there is also some notes that what they can redeem after using our services, which is redeem free 3 pieces of candies. I think, yes, that's all from us. Thank you.